sir. Welcome back to another edition of the NBA Gaming Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. You know me, know the voice of the guy. It's me, Villain Row. Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Oh, wait, I forgot to do the pre-rolls.
I was going to wait to see if you figured it out. But
No,
yeah.
I did.
Okay.
I did. Hold on, Scott. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's all good.
You're the editor, so it doesn't mean...
I'll fix it all in post anyway, but it's fine.
Just,
it's all
you
good.
can really just cut all of this. I'm going to do all of that again. All right. The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code NBA SGPN and get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rebet, a new sports book available in 45 states. Download Rebet in your app store. Use promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football, NFL, and NBA with a Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no the guy. It's me, really, bro. A villain, bro. It's Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Oh, man. Oh, man. The NBA is a funny place. And I'm telling you, it's not for the weak. It is not for the weak. I just do not know what is going on in the NBA that you can have these players that focus on their bodies year round and they literally get hurt every other week. Oh my gosh, Scotty Barnes is out for multiple weeks now. He just came back. Brandon Ingram didn't even make it a game. He went a couple of quarters, and then he was down with an ankle injury. 28 minutes, I think, to be exact. Oh my gosh. And then the Magic, who just can't catch a break with Paolo Banchero and then friends. What's up? Turn injuries off. Matter of fact, turn the injury slider all the way down.
They already started the dynasty mode, so they can't fix it.
Dang it. Well, we're gonna have to reset.
They have to make a new save file.
Yeah. All right. You heard him, Scott Studio Reichel. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beam me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, doing pretty well. 2 games yesterday. One was good. One was pretty underwhelming. I feel like that kind of sums it up. Bucks game was competitive, more than it probably should have been. Like, Milwaukee's been winning games, but damn, they look unimpressive in a lot of these games. Props to Orlando, though, for trying. I mean, Suggs was taking all the shots late. He had a monster fourth quarter. Did miss the last couple shots, but he was trying to carry that team down the stretch. Giannis was Giannis. I thought Dame played well. Middleton had a bunch of assists. He had no points, but I thought that overall you saw a pretty solid effort from both teams intensity-wise. Then you had the Mavericks game, and PJ Washington was the last-second scratch. And once that happened, it felt like the Thunder were gonna get the job done in the game, and they dominated. Luka was really bad. Dort made his life miserable, and Shea was incredible. Shea had 39. He was great, and nothing else really add there. Felt like the Thunder. Once the Mavericks,
where was Luka at? Was Luka at, Scott?
He was in the torture chamber in that game. But the point is,
he was where, Scott?
The game got a bit interesting.
Where was he at, Chuck?
Yeah, the game got a bit interesting late when they went on a bit of a run there. The Mavericks did in the start of the fourth quarter, and then the Thunder benched Hartenstein. They went to the small ball lineup, and at that point, they blew the game open again. So it just felt like the Thunder small ball lineup was just creating a lot of havoc. The ability to switch pretty much every pick and roll, and the ability to really just put a ton of pressure on Luka as the primary ball handler. Not to mention the fact that Luka does absolutely nothing for you off ball. So once Luka passed the ball, you were fine. But they were daring other guys to beat them. They couldn't. And the Thunder offensively were really, really dialed in. Defensively, they were great, and it just felt like they looked like a potential title-winning team, which we thought they were going to look like. And a reminder, Chet's still injured. So OKC, the main takeaway, damn, that team's really, really good. And they're missing, I'd say, their third best player. You could argue maybe second. I would probably put J-Dub ahead of Chet right now. But they're missing one of their top 3 guys, and they were able to do that. Like, they're a really, really good basketball team.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for, Scott. All those seasons of OKC just covering and not getting the win and being competitive but never actually being a legit
Sitting
team that
Shea
any
post All-Star break for no reason when your team was like 500.
yeah, like and still somehow covering games. Like
Mhm.
all of that hard work is now coming into fruition as these guys get older, better, and they start adding more pieces. Hardenstein was such a great sign for them,
Mhm.
man. Such a great sign. Like and you could honestly say the difference between the playoff series and the game earlier this year where they lost as 7.5 point favorites is Hartenstein. Like you
Yeah.
could actually say that. You could point to that. He had a really good game. And like you said, when he came off the floor, the small ball lineup was dominating. So uh
It's why I had to mention PJ Washington too, because if you're going to reflect back to the playoff series, Washington was unbelievable for Dallas, and he was not on the court. So I do want to see how they'd face off if PJ Washington was healthy. But either way, point is OKC used the crowd environment, they used the overall shooting, the overall defense, and they just smothered Dallas. That's the word I'd use for that game. It felt like they smothered Luka and the Mavericks as a whole, and they coasted.
yeah. My boy Quiet in the chat talking about OKC is the real trust the process. And they are. They really, really are. Like this is starting to come into fruition. And I mean, do they even need another piece to get it done?
They
Another
have
piece
to
will
make a move
help.
at some point because they have so many
Yeah,
first-round picks. At some point, you got to do something, but I don't
and
even know
just get
what you'd go for.
yeah, like I don't know either. It's just at some point they're gonna make a move. This team is gonna win a championship at some point, and it's gonna be great.
I'm trying to think of the main move you would make, like point guard. Like I don't even know because Shea has the ball in his hands all the
Don't
time
do
anyway, so I don't know
whatever
if
you
point guard really
do.
does you much.
Whatever you do, don't do that dumb shit that you did with Gordon Hayward.
That was just an absolute donation. I mean, they could have gotten Gafford, for example, to help out in that playoff run, but
Yeah,
you go for a power forward maybe, but you have Chet sitting there. Like I don't really know what you really
depth,
need. I would say a
upgrade
point
depth,
guard in theory, but
upgrade in depth. Like that's it.
yeah, you're
Just
pretty
saying, yeah,
set. Maybe a bench score, but your bench is already good anyway. But you got like a Mathurin off the bench to give you some scoring pop.
yeah.
You
I'm
know what I mean?
sold. I think I'm about to get down on some OKC championship futures.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I still think we're just headed to Celtics Thunder, the same that most people are thinking. I think those are the best two teams in the league. You could argue Cleveland somewhere in there, but my point is OKC should win the West. Like they're definitely the best team in the West as far as I'm concerned.
It's either them or Golden. It's gonna be a OKC Golden State Western Conference Finals, and I'm going to be free rolling. Free rolling. All right. Let's see here. We did have another game yesterday.
I kind of summed it up quickly. I mean, Giannis was great. I thought Middleton looked better. He didn't exactly shoot much at all. He had 0 points, but he was good facilitating.
Mm-hmm.
Portland, great. I can't do anything about Orlando. What am I supposed to talk about? Their best two players are dead, and they
But
fought.
they still made that. They still made that game.
Like,
That's what I want to talk about. And I think that he's not going to win the award. Well, potentially. Let's talk about Coach of the Year
I mean, I mentioned it a
because
week or two ago. Mosley's done a great job with that.
yeah, let's talk about Coach of the Year because I think he very well can win Coach of the Year. It's just because how are they? And that's why I picked Orlando, and I wish I just bet it and hammered Orlando in the spot because it was exactly what I thought of. Man, the game after you lose the big injury. This Orlando team's been really good. They're really really feisty. They ended up covering the spread, not getting the win as I thought. Bucks 1-10 was free money there. Uh, this Orlando team is gonna battle, like regardless, they're gonna battle any given night. They're gonna go out there and battle. And um, I don't know. They're just
It
not
feels
somebody
like
I
the
want to
whole
overlook
yeah.
in the regular season. Maybe the playoffs, I'm fine overlooking them, but I just can't overlook this team in the regular season. They just seem like they're gonna compete night in, night out, and I have to contribute that to Jamal Mosley. He's been really, really good.
It feels like the entire roster has a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Usually, you get like one or two guys who play that way, and Suggs was one of those guys who you kind of noticed last year as just the intensity that he brings is kind of next level.
Mhm.
It feels like that's carried over to the rest of the team. Paolo, I'm sure his leadership qualities have been solid. It seems like all his teammates praise him all the time, and he puts the work in as he had a 50-point borderline triple-double earlier this season. So you know that when your star players are going to be putting in the work night in, night out, that trickles down to the rest of your team. And it feels like Orlando has a bunch of dogs on their team. Whether the star players are in or out, Fran's able to step up when Paolo's out, and he's able to have a monster game. The shot he had against the Lakers, he's fearless. It feels like the entire team is not afraid of anybody, and no matter how many, I'd say, obstacles they have in front of them, and no matter how much the actual, I'd say, chips are stacked against them, they just respond, and they were able to respond last night. Yes, they lost, and yes, I guess in hindsight, it's a tournament, it's a single elimination thing. They're going home. The fans should feel pretty good about that performance. I
Yeah.
think they'd win the game.
Yeah.
I thought Milwaukee was going to win, but it looked like on a couple of occasions, especially the end of that third quarter, Milwaukee went on a run or two, and you figure, okay, like the wins out of Orlando's sails, they can't score enough points. And then Suggs says, you know what, give me 16 to 18 in the fourth quarter. I'm going to try to drag this team to the finish line. It fell short, but no shame in that. I thought they put together a great effort last night.
When this Magic seems fully healthy, they can really compete, man. I just don't know if they can beat somebody.
I think they need a little bit more
series.
scoring, personally. I know that Paolo and Franz can give you a bunch of points as those two guys, but Tazi's been good. I'm still not a Wendell Carter Jr. guy. Thought he was fine last night.
I mean, you know
Nothing
who
that
it
jumped off
is.
the
You know
page,
who's
but
really he's really pissing this team off on the offensive end, at least. It's fucking KCP. He's got to get
KCP
together.
has not shot the ball well at all.
He's got to get it together. Like, that's ridiculous.
I mean, defensively has been good, but when you're talking about what this team needs,
it needs scoring. It needs somebody that can sit outside the three-point line and hit an open shot, and damn, he can't do that.
The thing is about the playoff series last year, and yes, I know that there's been a couple leaps made by Franz who did not shoot the ball well last year. The issue they ran into is that Mitchell was able to drop a borderline 40-piece in Game 7, and they couldn't get that from really anybody. Paolo showed up for a bit. You could argue the efficiency wasn't there. He had some games with bad turnover issues, but it just felt like Orlando needed a second or third option. Now, Franz has clearly emerged as that second option, and he can definitely be a borderline all-star guy for the next couple of years. Suggs has improved offensively, which has been a nice sight to see. You mentioned KCP. I think they need a bit more scoring punch, either off the bench or maybe even in the starting lineup, assuming KCP doesn't rise to the occasion. That's the main issue with this team. And maybe they trade for, I don't know, like a Jordan Clarkson type, somebody off the bench. Because right now their main, I'd say, energy guy off the bench is arguably Cole Anthony, who I'm not sure is good enough to be that microwave scorer on a regular basis to be relied upon. I think that's their main improvement right now. Get some scoring punch off the bench.
If I could bet OKC to, not OKC, but if I could bet Orlando to just go to 7 with anybody in the first round of the playoffs right now, I would. I'm almost certain that this team is built for another 7-game playoff series that they probably lose. But we're so entertained, and they probably cover more of the games than they lost.
I see Adam mentioning Cam Johnson. I think that makes sense for Orlando. You get what we're trying to say, though. Like, Johnson's more of a starter, but he can play the sixth-man role. The point is, Orlando, it does feel like their scoring is still pretty top-heavy. When you have Paolo back in the lineup, you're relying mostly on 3 guys, 2.5. Suggs would be the half, but once again, he can give you a good game. Besides those main 3 guys, do you really have faith in anybody else in this lineup to actually score?
Not consistently.
In a playoff series, probably not. That's their main flaw. I don't think they're deep enough scoring line.
Jalen Suggs really I'm sold. I'm all the way sold on Jalen Suggs. I think that's a good 1-2-3 scoring punch. It's just not enough to win a championship, but it's enough to be a really, really good basketball team. And sometimes that's enough
to win a round to potentially lose in the second.
Yeah, and sometimes that's good enough. That's what OKC was for a little while. Like, OKC was just good enough, but now they made the next step. So maybe Orlando will make the next step one day. We're gonna keep watching this Orlando team. All right.
Do you have anything else you want to add from the games yesterday? Just atmosphere-wise or anything? Or I think we covered it.
No, I'm good. Let's get to the games today.
Sure.
Just got to remind everybody to download that SGPN app. Completely free over there in the App Store, Google Play Store, whatever store you got. Go get the app, get all the picks pages and shows and everything for free in that SGPN app. Also, Underdog Fantasy has a big menu of a whole bunch of sports where you can get fantasy projections in NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball, MMA, NASCAR. You got specials and boosts. I saw a Steph Curry half a point special up there. So make sure you go up there and check. It's easy. Just add it into the lineup. It's like a free square in bingo. It's like the very middle spot in bingo, and you're good. It's always going to be there. So make sure you go over there, get those specials, get that money over there at Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code NBASGPN, claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code NBASGPN. We're also brought to you by Rebet. Rebet is a new social sportsbook available in 45 states, and it's really, really good, especially if you're in a state where a lot of the traditional sports betting sports books are restricted. You can use Rebet. Rebet is a great alternative option. Plenty of betting opportunities available on Rebet. Gonna look to go get down on some action over there, especially when I'm traveling through restricted states. It's love to use Rebet. Download the Rebet app in the App Store and use promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $100. That's Rebet, promo code SGPN. All right, let's go. We got 2 games on the slate. First game up, NBA Cup quarterfinals. The Atlanta Hawks are on the road going to play the New York Knickerbockers. Knickerbockers laying 8, 237.5 is the total. Injury report here. And we talked about it a little bit offline, Scott. Josh Hart is questionable for this game with a sprained left ankle. We'll see if he'll be able to go. Karl Anthony Towns is probable with the knee injury, and no Mitchell Robinson as always. For the Atlanta Hawks, you have, well, look at that. A game time decision. He's listed as probable, so Trae Young going to be able to go with that Achilles injury, but nonetheless, still on the injury report. Yeah, Bogdanovich, who is questionable with a quad. You have DeAndre Hunter, who is probable with the knee injury.
Big news is Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, this is saving the best for last. Jalen Johnson is questionable with the shoulder injury, and he missed Sunday's game. So we're going to see if he's going to be able to go here. If it's not Jalen Johnson, it's going to be Larry Nance with some Garrison Matthews added in there as well.
I actually like Matthews, by the way. Like, I don't mind his 3-point props if he ends up playing with.
I don't think I paid Garrison Matthews any attention for real since Houston.
Just saying, guy can shoot. That's all I'm saying.
Houston was where I remember. He loves red. Garrison Matthews loves red. Lover of red. All right. I mean, it's the Hawks, man. Come on, it's the Hawks.
I want to hear your case because you're the Knicks fan, so you can go first.
I mean, it's really not selling me anything on anything else other than the fact that it's the Atlanta Hawks, and I'm not consistently backing this Atlanta Hawks team. Yeah, they've been on a little bit of a run and they were able to get things going. They had their couple of wins, as they're gonna get. They're never really a team that doesn't win any games. They're just not good covering the number. And they didn't cover the number against the Lakers, but they did be able to walk out of there with the win in overtime. Big shot, but they weren't even in that game against Denver at all. And I mean, yeah, Denver was missing some bodies, but if you lose to the Wizards, you lose to the Wizards. And one thing that those two teams had in common was that both of them lost to the Wizards. So nonetheless, the defense for Atlanta still isn't there. Last 5 games are giving up 118 points per game. Slightly better than where they were at. Still, I don't think that's going to be good enough for this Knicks team that is just absolutely blazing offensively in the last 5 games, scoring 120 points per game. I think that the Knicks on the inside are going to be able to get a lot of pressure on the inside and challenge the bigs for Atlanta and create turnovers. And that's really what's going to be the issue here. I think the Knicks are going to be able to create turnovers, and I don't think the Hawks are going to be able to. And then you're going to have the pace, and that's going to force the pace to slow down to where the Knicks are at. The Knicks are 19th in pace over the last 5 games. They've been really running a lot more half-court sets, and Atlanta's been trying to run. And if the Atlanta can't run and you force them into the half court, they make bad decisions with the basketball. They create turnovers, and it just kind of gets ugly. So I think the Knicks defense is for show here. Last 5 games, giving up 104 points per game. I think that they're going to go out there and ball out on the defensive end, and they're going to continue their scoring ways. I think that they put it on to the Atlanta Hawks here. So I like Knicks laying at 8. I think Knicks team total over is a better play for me because I think the Knicks are going to score regardless. But I still think that the Knicks are able to get out of here with the cover.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Knicks as well. Even though I do acknowledge Atlanta's been better lately, I think they've actually been pretty good defensively. They gave up 141 to Denver, but you looked at the game, they're on a back-to-back. It felt like they sat half the team. Jalen Johnson didn't play, and Joker had 41 points in 3 quarters. So it is what it is. I thought that their defensive numbers were pretty good. over the last week or two. Then the Denver game happened, which kind of skewed all the numbers in a negative way on their behalf. So I think that Atlanta's been improving defensively. The Knicks, I do think, are the better team. And the Knicks have been playing with their foot a little bit recently. Lost the game to Detroit. Cade was great in that game. It is what it is. The Toronto game was a bit weird. That game got dicey a bit. Then Cat, Big Bodega hit the three-pointer at the end to win the game. Or to clinch the game, I should say. Brunson had a double-double in that game, though. Shout out to Brunson, which I talked about on the show. I think the Knicks are the better team. I think that the atmosphere itself at MSG should be crazy tonight. And I do think that with the Hawks potentially missing their second-best player, I don't see them rising to the occasion here. The problem that I also have with Trey, yes, I know he had a great game against the Lakers. He had 30 and 20. He had the game-winning assist. Or the game-winning three-pointer, in overtime. He's shooting the ball so horribly that the inefficiency, I just think, is going to come back to bite them. But if Bogey's not going to play and Jalen Johnson's not going to play, and you got to deal with pretty good defenders. Bridges has been a bit inconsistent, but he's still a solid defensive player for the most part. And Anunoby, we know, has been great. Cat's been better as season has gone on defensively. And Josh Hart, who might play, might not play, we'll see. Point is, I think the Knicks are deeper as an overall team. And I do think the Hawks, if Johnson's going to be out, I don't think they have enough, I'd say, talent to overcome that. So I'll go with the Knicks minus 7.5. I like the under in this game, though, at 237. I get the first meeting did a lay in 237. You had a 78-point quarter in there. So that did kind of skew the entire thing. But with a standalone game here with the stakes of a single elimination tournament game, we saw the high total game yesterday go under with the Thunder and the Mavericks. You were never in doubt. I like the under in this game. It's a massive total. And the Hawks defensively, once again, have been better than you might think. The Knicks defensively have been better as well as the season has gone on.
Precious Achiuwa coming back is pretty big, man.
Gives him some size off the bench.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with the under, and the total's too high. I think the Knicks can keep the Hawks somewhat in check. Like, if the Hawks, for example, score, let's say 112, you're in pretty good shape for the under. Like, 112 is a decent amount of points. And that's still going to set you in a pretty good position for the under. Give me the Knicks in the under.
Yeah. I think the Hawks might struggle to get to even that 112. That's why I took the Knicks team total over, because I still do think the Knicks are going to be able to score, but it's just they've been so much better defensively over the last few games, and you know that they really. I enjoy, even though they could have pulled away multiple times in that Raptors game, I enjoyed how they kind of pulled it together at the end, especially after that loss to Detroit, and I think that. I'm not going to
overreact to the Detroit game, by the way, too, because it's the NBA. You have one bad game here. There, Cade was just really good. It seemed like Detroit just came in with more.
That was the Pistons come into the Garden and have that type of game where they just put together a really, really good complete game. Everybody was scoring. They shot 50% from the field and 50% from three.
They had one of those games. It is what it is.
Yeah, Beasley was 7 for 10 off the bench. Like, Jesus Christ! All right, 7 for 10 from three, by the way. All right. Yeah, I'm with you. Player props. Anything on the player prop spectrum you want to talk about here?
So I'm going to ask you, for the sake of this game, are we assuming that Hart and Johnson play? Or are we assuming that one of them sits? Because a lot of the potential, I'd say, secondary pieces for these teams are going to depend heavily on the status of those two guys. So I'm going to ask you, what do you think is going to happen with the injuries? I personally think Hart's going to play. I think Jalen will not.
I think, I really don't know about Jalen Johnson, and
it's concerning for Jalen because he missed the last game too, and it seems like there's really been no positive updates regarding it.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything, so it just seems like he's just gonna miss again. And they're hopeful, but it doesn't look like it's gonna go. Josh Hart could be potentially fine. I mean, even if Josh Hart doesn't go, I think the Knicks are still in pretty okay shape. Just because that'll mean, more Deuce McBride and Precious Achiuwa minutes, and they've been pretty okay.
For prop especially, though, I would take Brunson assist blindly if Hart's going to be out, because that's just going to give more overall playmaking for Brunson.
I would take, I would take that as well. I think that's a really good spot. And I'm just on Cat, bro. I think Cat's going to have a great game. Cat's been really good. Cat's been really good And I just realized that I now have to shit talk every free agent that the Knicks get for them to actually do something on the Knicks. Because anybody that I've been, enthusiastic about, hasn't worked out. But nonetheless, these last few moves, I didn't shit talk Bridges, so maybe that doesn't count. But nonetheless, I think Cat has a good game in here today. He's been really, really good over the course of the season, and this is in-season revenge for this Knicks team and going up against this Hawks team. And Cat had 34 in that other meeting, so his points prop is at 25.5 right now. Yeah, give me Cat to go over 25.5. I think he's going to have a really good day scoring. I think he'll be able to pull Clint Capella or Yeko Kongwu out of the bench. Out of the painted area, shoot a bunch of threes, hit some, look good. I like Cat to have a good day.
Yeah, I think I'm going to merge the rebounds in there for Cat too.
Okay.
He's been very good historically against Atlanta at rebounding. And if Hart's also potentially not going to play, Hart's a good rebounder, especially for a guy his size. That's going to create more opportunities for Cat. Cat's been great. I really can't go against Cat at this point. I have some action on him to win the NBA Cup MVP. So we'll see what happens. But I do think that Cat has been playing better than Knicks fans could have imagined. I'm sure Knicks fans had high expectations for him anyway because of the contract and because of what they actually traded. He's been insanely good. And it's mostly the transition because he's had some cryptic quotes in press conferences with Minnesota, and you wondered about his overall, I'd say, mental wiring, if he would struggle with the media in New York or maybe the overall pressure associated. He's thrived. He's been great. I got to give him props for it. So I think that Cat's a guy you kind of have to auto back at this point. I like the rebounds with him. I said before, if Jalen is potentially not going to play, I don't mind some Dyson Daniel options. I actually like DeAndre Hunter points. He has never seen a shot he doesn't like. Guy shoots a ton, especially if Jalen's not going to be there. A lot of usage around. We know Trey's going to be hunting for potentially 14, 15 assists in every game he plays. I don't mind DeAndre Hunter threes in this game. Knicks have not been great against the three-point line, and I do think that DeAndre Hunter's volume could be there. Give me Hunter threes.
I do like the Dyson Daniels assist angle as well. I think that's a pretty good one, and I've been playing it not too much, but there's been definitely a few times that I've gotten down. It used to be at 2.5, and you used to only need 3, and so for it plus money, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Pretty good bet there. All right. Before we get to the next game on the slate, got to talk to you about mybookie.ag. MyBookie's been running with SGPN for years, and now they're back new and improved with a nice new website, great on mobile, and they have a huge menu of props. So you can go get down on that Dyson Daniels play. You can go get down on the 100 threes, on the Cat points and rebounds, all of that over there at mybookie.ag. And they have the live dealer casino and new early cash out options for those people that are gardeners and like to get up out of there and cash out, hedge their bets, whatever. So make sure you go over there and tap in with mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That is mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform. You can tap in with bettors of all levels over there at Rhythm because you can build a model, whatever you preference, whatever you think is the key factors in the game. You can build a model for it, and Rhythm will give you your model's picks over there. Let's go see here. Let's tap into the props menu. Let's see. What does Rhythm like in the props menu here? Cooking up. Ooh, that looks interesting. It's a little bit of juice there, but nonetheless, they like Trae Young to get half a steal, Scott. That's it. Just one steal. One steal from Trae Young. He, jump a passing lane, right place, wrong time, or right place, right time, whatever.
They're not wrong time.
Yeah, no, not wrong time. Well, wrong time for the other team.
Yeah.
Not for Trae Young, but for the other team, absolutely. And that team likes to get out and try to create a turnover, get out in transition. So he's been over in 4 of his last 5 games, by the way, too. Rhythm says, hey, laid a little bit of juice, add it to a parlay, something, and go get that Trae Young half a steal. So look at that. Rhythm has a huge, there's a whole bunch of props here, a lot. I could sit here and read off all of them, but then you wouldn't go get the app. Just go get the app and use that link, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, RITHMM. Get 7-day free trial and go tap in with Rhythm. And if you don't like it, then okay, stop. But you got 7 days free. You might as well do it. Go tap in with Rhythm. All right. Next game up. The Golden State Warriors on the road, going to play the Houston Rockets. Rockets open up laying 1.5. They're currently laying 2. 223 is the total injury report in this one. And we have Andrew Wiggins is questionable. He expects Wiggins to suit up for the game, said Steve Kerr. So that looks like it might upgrade to a probable as the day goes on. However, Moses Moody is out. He's not playing. We have Steven Adams, who is questionable for the game. We have Alperen Sengun, who is questionable for the game. And I mean, it really looks like he's probably going to miss this game. It doesn't look good for Sengun here. So, Scott, Jashawn Tate is questionable for the game. Haven't heard him too much this season. Guess who else is also questionable? Cam Whitmore, also questionable for the game. All right. Scott, did you know that the last time the Houston Rockets beat the Golden State Warriors was before there was a 3-point line?
It feels that way. Definitely feels that way. It also makes sense because that means Curry couldn't beat them from 3, so that would check out.
Yeah, it all aligns. I'm trying to tell you here.
Going through the actual stat though, do you know how many straight regular season games the Warriors?
I don't know how many straight, but I know it's been since the pandemic, which is a good amount of time. 15 straight games. That's ridiculous.
15 straight games for Golden State. And you said Sengun might not play. Now, if Sengun's out, I will probably consume all of the Eason rebound options because I think that Eason's going to have a good game on the boards. He should be healthy. Got taken off the injury report. Sengun is such a massive piece of this team. It means Jalen Green's going to try to get into a shooting contest with Steph Curry. Probably not a good idea. That's where this game's headed, assuming Sengun's not going to play. I got to go with Golden State.
It's either Jalen Green or Fred VanVleet.
VanVleet against the Warriors historically, though, has been really bad ever since the finals.
I'm telling you right now, I can just go ahead and jump and tell you my player prop. I am on all Fred VanVleet unders.
I was going to say VanVleet
except the assist, because that would be his cop out. But like
against the Warriors
and rebounds
in the last
for sure,
couple of years, VanVleet's been really bad when it comes to
horrible
points. So.
And maybe it's because he's using too much effort on the defensive end trying to guard Steph, and he's not really focused on the offensive end. Like, that could very well be it. But nonetheless, this man doesn't have good games against the Warriors.
Pretty much. The point is, though, assuming Sengun's going to be either severely compromised, it's a knee issue. So even if he plays, he'll be, lumbering around out there. We know Golden State wants to play fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really bad spot for Houston based on that injury report. Not to mention the fact the team that's beaten you in 15 straight games is a dog. Really? Your favorite in this game and your best player might not play? I'll go with Golden State here. I think the wrong team's favor. And I love this Rockets team. But if Sengun's out, that takes away so much of what makes Houston dangerous offensively.
Yep.
So I gotta go.
Who are you replacing the offensive production with? Like, because defensively, all right, we could talk about that. But who are you replacing the offensive production with? Like, who's stepping up on this team? Maybe a Amen Thompson has a bunch of energy in this game.
Yeah,
and
him and Tyrese, and you hope the bench mob goes crazy with the energy.
The Terrell Twins.
And I was kind of half joking, but I was also serious. Jalen Green might try to go 1v1 against Steph Curry. It might happen. I'm just saying.
No, I can see it. I wouldn't. Maybe it is a Jalen Green just has a hot day. Like, somebody from Houston's going to have to try to step up here, and I just can't see who it is. I'm with you. I'm all over Golden State here. And maybe I'm a little biased that I'm pretty much on the Golden State hype train. I'm really on the OKC hype train. Somebody said it earlier, and I didn't mention them, but I'm also on the Memphis hype train. I can't see myself fading those teams too much on the regularly. And I just think that this is a nice spot for Golden State. I do have a Golden State future to win the NBA Cup. And so I'm going to continue it rolling. I'm not hedging. I'm not trying to get out and try to, hey, take Houston this spot. Maybe I win. I still got a bunch of plus money on Golden State. Nah, I'm greening up. Give me Golden State to get this done. I think they're moving on to Vegas.
I recognize how good Houston is at home. And I think if Sengun was fully healthy, I might actually pick Houston in this game, but he's not healthy. So it doesn't matter. It's a moot point. So with that being the case, I'll go with Golden State.
All right. Total's at 222.5. This gave me some issues because we did just play this game. What was that? 2 days ago? 3 days ago?
Oh, the game was an absolute rock fight.
Yeah, like complete utter. Now Steph didn't play, but complete utter rock fight. It was 99-93 Golden State, and it was just a high level of defense. And I mean, Scott, that total was the game closed at 218.5. This is 222.5. Is this just like the market is wrong, or like why are we not? Why would this just not an easy answer to we're taking the under again?
I think I'm going to have to go with the under as well. Maybe not for the exact reasons as the last meeting, because Curry not being in there in the previous game kind of makes the game irrelevant to me as far as I'm concerned, because we know what Curry can do to open up opportunities for his teammates as well. It might just be the NBA Cup atmosphere for me. Just watching the games unfold yesterday. Yes, Milwaukee's game did go over in the end. It was a low total, and he had some free throws at the end, so it is what
That
it
was
is.
my
But
lock.
I mean, I think that it's going to be a physical, grinded out game. Houston, trying to think of the path to victory for this team, they have to make this as ugly as possible.
Yeah.
Like, they have to try to murder this team physically and just try to wear the Warriors down, trying to really just get into Curry's space, trying to take away airspace, trying to limit his chances. Yes, easier said than done. They have to make this game ugly, because if they turn this game into a track meet with Golden State, they're going to lose. It is what it is. So I think you have to look at Houston trying to make the game ugly, trying to make the game physical, and I'm hoping at home the defensive intensity will be there. I'll go with the under in this game, but mainly because of the NBA Cup atmosphere. You're in single game elimination territory. It's the only time of the season you're in this territory besides a potential play-in game. And even with that being the case, the 7 seed has a second shot at it. So it's kind of a rare, I'd say, atmosphere where it's like March Madness single elimination spot. I think there might be maybe some nerves, maybe some overall, maybe ref swallowing whistles. But I like unders in these games. I'll go with the under.
Yeah. All right, we're both on Golden State. We're both on the under. Player props. I mean, I teased it to the first part, Scott. On my other show, I've already bet it. I have money on Fred VanVleet going under 21.5 points and rebounds.
He's been so bad against the Warriors in his career. I'll pull up the numbers in a sec, but it has not been pretty.
I'll tell you right now, he hasn't been over that line in the last 5 games versus the Warriors.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Like it's just the thing. Like some teams have your number and they just have his number. And
it's part
for
of the trade though, because VanVleet decided to go supernova in the finals with Toronto, and after that happened, Steve Kerr said, "I'm never letting this guy beat me again."
Never, never. Like it's actually personal between them or something like that. Like that's ridiculous. That's hilarious. Yeah, I'm on unders for Fred VanVleet. I don't think I'd be able to score, but I could actually. You could talk me into a ladder on either Jalen Green or Jabari Smith Jr. because I think one of those two has to have a really, really good scoring day if Alperen Sengun is going to be out. Like you have to talk, especially maybe Jabari Smith Jr., especially trying to go inside of the paint and get some easy ones and pull some guys out of the paint and
for
shoot
volume.
some
I'd go Green, but Jabari would be, of course, the better option for a potential ladder because you need less points for a pretty large price.
Yeah,
but I think the ball's going to be in Jalen Green's hands basically the entire game. So, although I see some comments in the comment section about Scotty Barnes' injury, about him missing like 7 weeks with an ankle sprain.
Several? I think it was several.
Either he's soft or he's tanking, and I see people talk about the actual ankle sprain. I'm shocked it was sprained. I thought he ruptured something. Like, he reacted on the ground like he thought that his season was completely over. So I'm not going to give him any type of flack for it. I'm shocked it's only a sprain. I thought his ankle was absolutely destroyed. I thought it might have ruptured an Achilles.
Yeah.
It looked bad. So the fact that he's not officially out for the year, I think is actually surprising. I'm not going to roast Barnes.
It's just bad. It's just bad luck for him, man. Like, it's just bad luck.
Very.
Like,
and he's a good player. But just looking at his reaction, he was like, oh my God, I can't. Like, it sounded like he thought his season was over. I thought it was massive rehab time. And apparently it's not. That's actually the good news for it. But anyway, back to the Houston game.
Man, turn injuries off for the season. Just turn them off. All right. Got to start a new dynasty. Here we go. What else we have here? Player props. What else we got?
So I like Buddy Hield props in this game.
Oh, really?
I am wondering what the new lineup's going to be for Golden State because Hield did start last game and Bajemski came off the bench. I can't tell if that was a swap or if Wiggins was out, so they just wanted a bit of size with Hield in there.
Mm.
I'm hoping that Bajemski still comes off the bench, and I'm hoping that Hield does get a bunch of minutes because Hield was really good in that game against Minnesota. He was pretty good in terms of RA against Houston in the last meeting. Didn't do much for points. His RA is like 3.5. That is insanely low for a guy that might play 30 minutes. Like, he might play 25, 30 minutes in this game. Give me Buddy Hield over on his 3.5 RA. Bit juice, though. It's at about minus 145. But based on usage alone, I got to go with the over. Like, Hield is not a small guy. He can get you rebounds. He'll find himself open off screens. He'll get the ball. He can find some potential passes for assists. 3.5 is really low. He could get 4 rebounds in the game by himself, and now you throw in the assists too. Give me the over 3.5 rebounds and assists.
Amen Thompson.
Rebounds?
Points.
Okay.
He's at 18 and 14 in his last 2 games against the Warriors this season. It's at 11.5. But, like, look at his last few games. Like, he's had 22 against the Clippers, that 14 against the Warriors. Yeah, 3 and 9 against Sacramento and OKC. But then before that, 19, 15, 19. He's shooting over 50% on the field. Like, when he gets the attempts, they go in. Like, he's very, very efficient in what he's able to get. And a lot of that stuff is near the basket. But, like, if you're efficient near the basket, you're going to put up points. And 11.5, that's a couple of buckets, couple of free throws, and we can get over there. And they need another scoring option. Like, I think that's going to be the talk. Like, with Şengün out, who's going to be the next scoring option that's going to help build that? And I think that we talked about it. It's going to be Sonatari Eason and Amen Thompson coming off the bench and playing more minutes. And those guys are so good defensively. You got to play them. Like, you have to play them. That's how good those two are defensively. So I like Amen Thompson to go over his points today. All right. Yeah, I think that's it, Scott. Let's get into Lock Dog Underdog and close this thing out here. For my wait, what's the mojo? What's the mojo going on? Have we switched? Is it still me?
We do one show a week together, so I don't know if there is a mojo between the two of us, to be
I
honest.
don't know. I think we got to start tracking this. I'm gonna go first again, but we got to start making sure and see what happens. All right, for my lock. I've already given out the Knicks team total over, so I don't want to do that again. Yeah, just give me Golden State. Just give me Golden State. I'll take Golden State. I'll even take them on the money line. It's 15 straight. They haven't lost to them since before there was a 3-point line. Come on. And Şengün, it really doesn't look like he's going to play. I think that's why I feel so confident of taking Golden State now, because it really doesn't look like he's going to play. And if Şengün is ruled out, Golden State's going to move to like -1. I think they should move to -1. So I'm going to take Golden State now. And I'm going to go, it's an easy play here. Golden State, fading them against the Rockets, and I'm backing my Golden State future in the NBA Cup. So give me Golden State. I'll take one on money line, get it done. Plus 107, 105, wherever you get it. For my dog, Jabari Smith Jr. is fun. Amen Thompson is interesting. But I think all roads lead back to Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all roads lead back to Cat here, Scott. So we're going to alt Cat, and we're going to go for an alt combo on the points and rebounds, just to be sure. Very tempted to do just the points, but you know what? Just to be sure, I agree with you. We should take the rebounds as well. We can get Cat for, where's the Cat's alt points and rebounds? Right here. I can get him for 45. 45 at plus 190. And that's what I did last time. I'm pretty sure I took Cat. I have it in the records. Yeah, I took him at 45 last time, and I was getting less. So plus
That's
190.
for points and rebounds, or points, rebounds, and assists?
Points and rebounds.
Okay, I was gonna say that's a massive line. He's been great. That's a massive line, though. Okay.
Yeah. I trust Cat. Should I add this? Well, let me see. No, because I
think I'd rather just take the alt rebounds at that point, to be honest, because that way, you're probably going to need him to get like what, 14, 15
I can
rebounds
get
anyway.
15 rebounds for plus 160. But I think
you could do it for PR. I'm just saying that's a lot. If I think realistically, yes, he could drop 40 in a game or 35, etc. You're probably banking on 15 rebounds, right?
Yeah, close to 15 rebounds. I'm more of like I'm penciling him in for 30 points here. So let's see what Cat's 30 points is. I have him penciled in for 30 points, and I think that's how I'm getting it. 30 points is plus 150. So I could take 30 points plus 150, or I can go for the points and rebounds and get plus 190.
JR, I was waiting for you. We're talking about the Hawks today. Thanks for showing up.
He came in at the end. Yeah.
He has to
I'm
pop
gonna
in.
stick with it.
There's only 2 hockey games on today, so he might actually watch the Hawks play.
I'm gonna stick with it. He obliterated this line the last time he played them. I'm gonna stick with it. Give me 45 plus points and rebounds for Cat. Huge monster day for Cat. Cat's one of those. I don't know. They still do the king of the court. One of those
I
guys.
think that they discontinued that. They're not
Probably.
going to do it with only 2 games anyway.
Yeah, Cat's gonna be a monster today. I'm going with Cat.
All right. So for my lock on this one, I think I'm actually going to go with some player props here. For my lock, I'm going to go with Tari Eason. I'm going to go with this over 5.5 rebounds at around minus 133 on Caesars. Great price, like minus 150 on DraftKings. So I think that it's once again worth taking. But he had 12 last game against Sacramento. In the last game he played against Golden State, which was back in November, he had 9 rebounds in 35 minutes. So once again, you might play a lot of minutes if you end up seeing Şengün being out. I like his activity. Simply put, I think that he's going to be able to create a lot of second chance points for this team. Houston has to make the game ugly, and they have to crash the glass. I think Tari Eason fits that quite well. Fits that game plan. Give me Tari Eason over his 5.5 rebounds as my lock at minus 133. For my dog, I think the Knicks are going to win, but the question is, do I really want to bank on a win margin here? Because I think that the Knicks could blow them out or win close, which kind of makes it interesting. So what I think I am going to do is I think I'm going to go with something a bit safer. I mean, it's going to be a bit juicy, but let me see if I could actually fix it. I mean, I like Brunson in the game anyway. I think that the Hawks are going to have a hard time guarding Brunson. Keeps going to the locker room, though, in every game, which is pretty annoying. It's really frustrating me, but I have to at least acknowledge it.
No, he does. He does go to the locker room a lot.
He does. I think I'm going to go with some type of, it's not really reverse correlated, but I do like a parlay in the Knicks game. Give me Brunson 8+ assists and the under 237.5.
Ooh,
plus 243.
Nice reverse correlation there.
It's plus 243.
Man, what a sweat. Under in a Hawks game. Huge sweat. Love it, though.
I mean, it is a massive total in a single elimination game.
You're right.
So that's where I'm at.
All right. Let's get the underdog. Need a winner here. Let's go. Let's see here.
Do you want to start off with just the Eason?
Yeah. I like Tari Eason too. I think that's a really good sneaky play, Scott, actually. Because what if he has what if he just sneaks around and mess around and gets a double-double in this game?
He could.
And they're hoeing you 0.94. It's not bad, but it's 0.94.
No, it's not that bad.
All right. Tari Eason. He's in the queue. We can
You
add
wanna go
Cat. We can add some Trey. We can add. Oh yeah, Fred VanVleet. We got to continue the Fred VanVleet not being able to score against the Warriors. Let me see here. Points and rebounds is at 20.5. Points, rebounds, and assists is at 27.5. Do you want to play the game with the assists?
We can, unless you think that there's something a bit better.
I mean, I took points and rebounds just because what if he has like a 10 assist day and that kind of fucks us up? Yeah, let's go points and rebounds.
It's fine.
Lower points and rebounds. And then let's who's the last one? I got enough mojo going on Cat on the 45 plus. I don't need any more Cat.
All right. So
I'm fine. I can take Trey. I can take Trey.
Trey,
he's in the garden. Yeah, he's in the garden.
I don't want his points. I don't think he can shoot.
Yeah. The assist is kind of juiced.
Unless you want the shot attempts, because I know that might be an angle too. But
is that even up here?
I think Underdog does have a shot attempts market.
It might have to be like closer to the game.
Yeah.
Like closer to when the game starts.
If Jalen Johnson's out, he's chucking. So that's something to keep in mind. Unless you want to go for
I'm not gonna lie, I want to play that.
Unless you wanted DeAndre Hunter threes. That's another option you could go with. But
okay, so we're gonna pencil in DeAndre Hunter threes right now.
Okay.
But I'm gonna wait to play this one, and then I'm just gonna add the Trey Young shot attempts at the end and make it a four underdog lineup. 4 entry underdog lineup. but because I do like your angle with the DeAndre Hunter threes too. So, and it's a little bit spicy too. So that's nice. But
Yeah.
I definitely want to play a Trae Young higher on shot attempts today. That would be amazing. Okay, so Tari Eason higher, 5.5 rebounds. We have Fred VanVleet lower, 21.5 points and rebounds. And we have DeAndre Hunter higher, 1.09x spicy, 2.5 3-pointers made, with a Trae Young higher on shot attempts on deck later before the game time. But right now, that's 6.14x. $100 gets you $614 over there at Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. That's NBA SGPN. All right, Scott, anything else for people before we get up out of here?
No,
Ooh,
not
I do
really.
like that parlay.
We return to actual full slate of basketball action tomorrow, as you have pretty much every team playing. No, just kidding. You have 3 games, so I'm kind of trolling here. Yeah, you go 2 games on Tuesday, 2 games on Wednesday, 3 games on Thursday.
Hey, man, it feels like
then-
we back in the heart of WNBA season.
And then Friday comes around, you have an actual slate of games. So yes, I was trolling there. You have 3 games tomorrow. So yeah, it's a weird part of the NBA calendar, but it should be fun. So
Very much so. All right. With that, he's at Reichel Radio. I'm at really real __. Make sure you give us a follow. Give us a follow as well on X at SGPN NBA, and a 5-star rating and review. Please, a 5-star rating and review. Go make sure you drop those 5-star rating and reviews. Lonte has put up a bounty. Best review gets a $50 SGPN gift card. So make sure you go drop those reviews. With that, yeah, I have nothing else to say. Nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just gonna end it like this. We are. Oh yeah, shout out to the Golden State Valkyries. We're out of here.